ultimately, like, you can do all the research you want, but until you actually buy an NFT, until you actually feel that rush, seeing the floor starting to creep up, and you're just like, I'm doing something right here. It's hard to explain, and it's hard to communicate, it's hard to translate those feelings to people that are new to the space. So,
welcome to the Alpha Podcast, made possible by West Coast Customs and Neverland Studios, hosted by me, Jussup. Before we begin, I want to remind everybody that what you're about to hear is not financial advice, nor do we endorse any of the guests or projects on the show. This is simply meant for educational purposes, and oftentimes I'm learning about these projects in real time as we're recording them. While this is brought to you by West Coast Customs and Neverland Studios, the opinions expressed are of my own or the guests, and not of the companies. So without further ado, let's tap into the episode. We got Evan Mendoza. Tell me what you do, who you are.
Yeah. I do a lot, and I take pride in a lot. Foremost, I play baseball with the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm an infielder, mostly shortstop this past year at the AAA level. Part-time artist. I'm a creative in basically every nature, anything creative I enjoy. Recently is my Diamond Dogs project, a PFP collection on Ethereum. Just have a lot of hobbies, enjoy music, just honestly anything that is a good form of therapy. I almost view it as a creative side for me.
With this Diamond Dogs, you drew all of them, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people, especially when you're new into the NFTs, they get almost threatened with like, oh, you drew every single one of these. There's 7,000 of them. The creative journey that I went through is I actually thought the same thing. I thought I was going to have to grind out 7,000 Diamond Dogs with different traits and different variabilities. That's not the case. So I learned just like everyone else did when they were beginning in this space, and they heard 7,000, 10,000 hand-drawn Diamond Dogs or punks or apes. You realize it's each individual trait that is drawn, and then the computer kind of sorts it out and creates different variables. So that's exactly what I did. I did each individual trait on my iPad on Procreate. Definitely baseball inspired since I play, and just honestly had a great time.
What is one of the things that you are super excited about in this space?
Honestly, the coolest thing I think is when no dream is too big. I think we're seeing that right now. Some of my biggest dreams I think could be accomplished in the next year if things go the right way. That's crazy to me. I feel like that makes anything that I want to do attainable. The future will tell, which is exciting because this creative, artistic side of this space, we're going to start seeing things that haven't really been seen before in society, in the VR, in the metaverse. Like, there's some really cool things out there and going to be developed even more.
Yeah. Have you bought anything on Solana yet?
Have not bought anything on Solana. I did list and mint one of one that I created about a month ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I'm losing track of time.
Yeah,
but
that's crypto.
I just wanted to honestly see the user experience, and it was very similar to Ethereum. Basically, no gas, which I was like, okay, this is interesting. Maybe I put a collection out there, like, for the Solana-based audience, community, whatever. Definitely has crossed my mind before.
So we were transferring Solana from one wallet to the other, and it was like by the time you got to the next wallet to check to see if it was there, it was already there. So it was like
quick and almost
and no gas, and it was all there.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think later down the road, there needs to be some transaction fee, like at scale. If there's so many people on the network, there has to be a transaction fee. So like, we're all wishing and desiring for zero transaction fee, and that could happen like decades from now, I think. But ultimately, when you transfer any type of money, there's going to be some type of service fee. It's just like almost inevitable. I feel like that's the power that like banks nowadays have, and then ultimately networks are going to have 10 years from now.
What's the last thing you bought?
I think it was a Smiles. I think it was a Smiles. Smileverse. They've got a really good brand. They just have that like streetwear type vibe to them, where they're just being themselves. The artist is Afghan born. Wahid's an awesome guy. He loves playing FIFA. So like, just to be able to connect to the artist, understand his basically inspiration on everything. It's very eye opening, and then also to see just unbelievable artwork too. Any person I show them my Smiles to, they instantly put a smile on their face, and I think that's powerful. That's art in summary.
Since you've gotten into NFTs, have you found yourself spending more time in like clubhouses and Twitter spaces?
Yeah, I'm mostly more in Twitter spaces now. Yeah. Honestly, I used to be in Clubhouse in like April. just kind of have been fading away. Twitter, it's just like kind of like a little bit more all-inclusive, so that's why I stay like in the Twitter sphere, I guess.
You get to really learn a ton of stuff from
different perspectives ultimately.
I mean, even just being in this hacker house, like there are so many brilliant people walking around here. It's insane.
Yeah, when you start to realize the possibilities, like I think it's awesome. We have a developer, Matt, out over in the UK, outside of London. I basically explained to him in as much detail as I try to. Like I use Procreate, I create grids, I literally explain it in paragraph form, and basically like a one-sheeter. What I want to see out of my website, basically. Here are my dreams. Can you create them? And like he just gets hard to work. He grinds it out, and then like he produces it. Like anything really is possible on the internet nowadays. Think about what's going to be possible like in the metaverse 2 decades from now.
Yeah. So what are some projects that you're excited about? Here's the alpha, right?
Yeah, I honestly think like I'm sticking true. Like the crypto dads, I love the smiles. Those two are just awesome. The Secret Society of Whales have. I've been telling kind of my close friends is like their floor is basically the same as like what I bought into it. So as long as they're staying consistent and if ETH is pushing up, technically their project's continuing to rise in value.
Right.
Even though the floor is staying the same. So a lot of people are like, oh, floor this, floor that. A consistent floor is technically a rising one because ETH is going to be pushing 10,000 at some point in time. I'm not going to put like a date on that, but a 0.54 or a 0.05 or whatever it might be is still more in value if ETH is pushing up high.
So do you think that, or not necessarily say, but when Coinbase NFT comes out and say OpenSea adopts things like Solana or other chains that significantly reduce gas, do you think that there's going to be a shift in, I know like personally, if I go to even list something, I got to pay $30. Mm-hmm. And as ETH continues to rise, so does gas. Mm-hmm. And I know like you had said that you think that there's always going to be some sort of fee, but I mean, the fees are definitely getting astronomical.
Yeah, they're getting crazy. And I think that's where hopefully we'll see some, revolutionary design or not really sure what goes into it, but with ETH 2.0, like there has to be something to accommodate the masses using this because ultimately this is a space that's going to be growing at a rapid pace this next couple of months, and we need a network that's going to be reliable and isn't going to tweak out like ETH kind of has been. It is going to be cool, later down the road to be able to tell my kids that gas was a thing, and maybe gas won't even be a term in their young adulthood, but that'd be cool, just to see the evolution of how things used to be.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that's the price we're all going to have to pay to be the pioneers that we are going to be 10 years down the line.
Right. How many NFTs do you think you've collected since your journey?
Around 15 to 20, I believe. Yeah. They all were recently. I'd say recently. I mean, I started in like August collecting. Back in February, I started doing one-of-ones. And then
that's when you started making the one-of-ones.
The one-of-ones, on Procreate, just beach scenes, like whatever came to mind. And I listed those on Foundation, so those were just whatever spoke to me at the time. Yeah. Did a piece where we donated all the proceeds to the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research. Went to NC State, so Jimmy V went to NC State or coached at NC State and had the dream team, or not the dream team, I think it was the 86 national championship. They won it, the underdogs. But special connection there, so like just wanted to be able to do something good. And I think right now with Diamond Dogs, I started that in September, I think, early September. Basically put the puzzle together. It's been a fun ride.
Cool. What are your plans with Diamond Dogs?
So ultimately it's going to be an overall brand. I think that's something that people aren't seeing right now with PFP collections. They're kind of just like, a lot of them don't necessarily bring a ton of real life value. They're claiming to do this and that. We've all seen it. And then ultimately the value isn't matched with the dollar amount that they've invested in. So unfortunately, a lot of projects are just going down in value because there's not a ton to offer, especially if you don't stay true to your word. So ultimately, the Diamond Dogs, if I'm thinking 10 years down the road, it would be really cool to see the journey, not only for myself, but like to feel, and maybe it has an official title in 10 years, but actually being the CEO of Diamond Dogs. Diamond Dogs is not necessarily going to be like a headquarters, a brand, a business. It's going to be kind of the umbrella to hopefully a lot of different avenues for things that I'm passionate in that I would like to be able to say that I put a change into that industry or how those people think. So, for example, Diamond Dogs HQ would be something like underneath, I guess, Diamond Dogs, the umbrella, as like a business that we would like to do, but also has a vision behind it. I would love to be able to do like an indoor baseball facility called Diamond Dogs HQ, but also have aspects of that facility tailored for the parent. Sometimes when I give lessons to kids that are 10 years old, the parents are like hanging over the fence and instructing the kid for them. And usually at this point, sometimes I'm a little hard-headed, but instead of speaking up, I kind of just roll my eyes and continue to flip to the kid, not really doing my job ultimately. The parents paying me money to instruct their own kid just is backward thinking, and I don't like seeing that. So having a facility tailored to the parent as well, having a sports bar, having a coffee bar, having an outdoor patio, definitely having a bar in that like sports bar area with TVs and stuff for the parents, maybe even have like study rooms almost like in college where if you need to get some work done, like bring your laptop. That way you can separate yourself and be productive or put a smile on your face having a drink with a coworker while your kid is having a baseball lesson. Ultimately, like we want this to be a facility where pros also are also training.
Yeah.
The umbrella of having Diamond Dogs as like a brand, it's going to be like this umbrella that we kind of dive into separate little businesses, maybe side hustles. Maybe they're going to turn out to be really great things. For example, like the Diamond Dogs HQ, that's going to be for kids to be able to train. Have a parent section to basically create the environment of parents do your own thing, kids practice, maybe get your private lesson with your instructor, and you're also rubbing shoulders with pro athletes. So I think that's a pretty cool dynamic to be able to enter that type of environment, because I think that's a healthy environment, not having your sometimes toxic parent literally over your shoulder. It's like having a breather. I think it's really important. I have a desire to create a media production company for baseball to be able to highlight the game of baseball and to show how cool it is.
This episode is brought to you by Neverland. And no, we're not talking about the California ranch. You're probably wondering, aren't you a founder? Yes, I am, and I'm not here to bullshit you. Along with my two cousins, Mark and Kurt, our partners Rob and Evan, and the world-famous West Coast Customs, yes, the guys behind Pimp My Ride, we're building a car customization, collecting, and racing game on the blockchain called Empire Ave. Empire Ave will sit in the Neverland world, along with the Meta Whips and the Meta Racer minigame, the Crypto Dad Dadlands mower racing game, and the ever-expanding metaverse that's going to continue to grow. You can find out more by visiting www.neverland.io. That's www.neverland.io. Let's get back into the episode.
Ultimately, I feel like we're doing a poor job of that, generally speaking. And if I have a platform and I have the ability to change something like that, I'm going to do everything in my power to do so.
Yeah. Have you found that other athletes have been reaching out to you about NFT stuff? I mean, obviously, it's everybody's hearing NFT. It's
definitely. A lot of people are getting into the space, which is good. They're raising their curiosity, which is important. But ultimately, they have to execute, and they have to ultimately fail for themselves. They're not going to actually learn without taking any action. So ultimately, like, you can do all the research you want, but until you actually buy an NFT, until you actually feel that rush, seeing the floor starting to creep up, and you're just like, I'm doing something right here. It's hard to explain, it's hard to communicate, it's hard to translate those feelings to people that are new to the space. So it's challenging. As we all know, it's challenging to basically describe how to reset the router box to your parents. But ultimately, like, we know how to do it. We're basically like coders at this point. Everyone probably thinks we all code. We all, do all this Web3 stuff, so we must be geniuses. And it's like, well, no, some people are artists, some people are this, some people are that. So you don't have to do it all.
Yeah, this space has really connected a lot of people from different kind of backgrounds, and it's been cool. It's almost been like an equalizer too, where it's given a lot of opportunity to people who, maybe weren't selling bunches of NFT or like their photography or their art and stuff, and now it's giving a new platform for people to really dive in. It's been cool. Are you finding more people are getting into buying and investing in NFTs or wanting to create their own?
I think it would be more of the flip game.
Yeah.
I think that makes it easier. It's ultimately easier if you do your research from home on your phone. There's a lot less moving parts in just trusting your gut and buying low and selling high. Like
it's easy to say that.
Those are two decisions that you have to make as a NFT trader. As an NFT founder, there's literally, I would say, like close to like 100,000 small little minute decisions that I've made since early September on how I want to structure this project. It starts creeping at you, like all the things that you need to accomplish when there basically is a roadblock or a speed bump. You have to be there to fix it. You have to like understand how to create the solution.
You have to work on the fly.
You have to work and I've literally felt like I've turned into a boss, and that's something I've grown into the past 3 months. I feel like I'm a pretty soft-spoken guy, kind of, quiet, a little shy, some might even say. But ultimately, when I'm around the right people that think the same way that I am, and also are buying into my vision, ultimately the team around me that I've been able to, I'm fortunate enough to be able to create, they are bought into my vision on how I'm trying to change, not necessarily the world, but maybe, maybe the
contributing,
the shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can like literally kick that to the curb, and like no one's ever even going to be able to say anything like that, because that's something that I heard. Of course, the news lady was talking about LeBron James when he was getting a little bit too political. Ultimately, he has a platform. He can use it however he'd like. And of course, when you're doing something right, there's going to be plenty of haters.
And I think, like, especially when you're entering a space going from being an athlete to something completely new, and not even a space that like it's new to everybody, not just new to you. It's new to
everyone. We're going to be those pioneers that can consult with Pepsi on their NFT collection. Like it's going to be crazy because like there's no boundaries in this space. There's no ceilings. Like,
totally.
Just shoot for the stars, man. Like anything's possible.
Yeah. Have you seen the new PFP project that we announced?
Maybe.
Called the Meta Whips. Yeah. We're building a video game on Solana. We haven't announced exactly the full details on how that's going to roll out. But you will be able to get an actual NFT, like a playable asset within the game.
That's something that I would love to be able to create, like a backyard baseball type video game attached to the Diamond Dogs.
Yeah.
Some type of play to earn. Ultimately, I would like to maybe see that happen after our relaunch. So definitely going to find ways to create opportunities for the community.
So there are these little mini cars. There's 5 body styles. The one I just showed you was the Merc. So the bulk of them are going to be revolved around that Merc. That's Ryan's kind of baby. He dreamt that up when he was a kid and then actually built it in real life several years ago.
That's awesome.
And then there are 5 one-of-one cars that are based off of the 5 rarest crypto dads. There's like a diamond dad, I call it the Chad dad. He's the buff one.
That's awesome. Yeah, being able to like kind of integrate 2 communities into one. That's kind of a little marketing strategy that I've been able to use for this relaunch, is creating assets. And since we're using on-chain generation, we're able to actually add traits later on. So we paused our contract. We're adding traits on, and like for the crypto dads, we're adding a specific trait to that community, and we have the ability to raise the percentage during like an hour or 2 during our launch day, and hopefully the entire crypto dad community sees the crypto dads within the Diamond Dogs.
That's cool.
It gives them an incentive to hopefully mint.
Did you also see we announced the partnership on the video game with
the video
game
dads? Is like lawnmower racing, something like that. That's awesome. Yeah.
So we're actually building a metaverse called the Eververse, and it's basically a racing, collecting, customization, and play to earn metaverse, where we'll have Empire Avenue, which is the West Coast Customs game, and then the lawnmower game, which is, we're calling it the Dadlands world. So instead of Badlands, Dadlands.
That's awesome.
And the Crypto Dads lawnmower racing game will be in that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, one thing I just like appreciate with like how West Coast is going about it is I think we have very equal, like-minded idea. Obviously, I have my baseball. You have the basically car lovers in the world.
Yeah.
Do all car lovers know what an NFT is or know how to get into
no way.
NFTs? No, but people love cars.
Yeah.
Same way with people loving sports and loving baseball ultimately. We're ultimately trying to convert our audience into something that our brand basically is telling our community, we think this is really, really cool. I think it would be beneficial to you guys to invest basically into our company, our brand ultimately. And that's what you guys are doing at West Coast. That's what I'm basically trying to do as well. It's just like that evolution of the brand ultimately. And the conversion, that's the hard part because, it's hard to basically explain it. What's your best way of like explaining to the car community what an NFT is and like basically why you should want to get into it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is their digital assets, right? And it's kind of the future. It's more of a technology than just like a piece of art. Yeah, there's an aspect that we're utilizing this technology for art, for utility, and for different digital assets, but the ability to utilize this technology to show that you authentically own this asset or collectible or whatever you want to call it, I think that's the coolest thing, is being able to really show people that you can prove that you own something. So now if you want to take it with you and sell it and anything like that, like, it can't be duplicated, it can't be replicated. So
do you tie in like rarity of cars in real life to your community to try explaining that message?
I think,
for example, like
collectibles, like thinking of like diecast, there's a lot of model car collectors in our community, and so I think utilizing that as an actual analogy is more beneficial. And I would assume, like in your case, trading cards would be
I think actually like the actual physical memorabilia is where I go. I feel like you could probably pitch that as well. Like, let's say the Tokyo Drift Supra, the custom orange Supra. You can recreate that car however many times you want, but there's only going to be one, like, official car, and there's only one in the world. Like, whoever's name is on the registration that's the owner. You can take a picture of it, you can recreate it, just like there are other baseballs in the world. But if I get to the big leagues and basically achieve a dream come true and receive basically my first base hit, which is what they do. You get a base hit, they throw it back in the dugout. They actually put a shiny sticker of authenticity on there.
Oh, cool.
There's literally an authenticator in the dugout. They are basically the blockchain. They're literally authenticating it right then and there.
Yeah.
There are millions and billions of baseballs in America, but there's only one of my first hit.
Right.
So like there's no duplicates. Like, you own that. And ultimately, like, I could sell that for however much I think it's worth. Would I do that, though? No, it's special to me. Just like my crypto dad's special to me. Like, I don't want to sell it, so, like, I'm not trying to.
Right.
So I think that kind of, like, aspect of, like, relating it to something, like, really cool in your industry that people would appreciate, that gets the gears turning. Because ultimately, we're all trying to find a way to inform our audiences in a way to onboard people to NFTs.
Yeah. I think the younger generation is like kind of primed for it too. So as people,
they're also primed to hating on a lot of things, because I was barely fortunate. In early quarantine, I was giving lessons to two boys, and they had an indoor hitting facility in their home. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Like, that's really cool. And they finished the indoor facility like literally a week before I gave the first lesson. So I was like, this is perfect timing. Became really close with them. The boys lived with them actually during quarantine. They like basically were my host parents and host family. And we did everything together. We did slip and slides off their dock. We would just do like paintings. We would definitely train, work out, hang out, do TikTok trends, whatever. And we're just having a good time. And it honestly was like a lot of fun, just nothing on our schedule. It was quarantine, like, just hang out with one another, make the most of it.
Yeah.
We definitely won quarantine because we went about it the right way. But ultimately, like, I got really close with a 13 and 15-year-old that are now 15 and 18. So it's like, I understand how some of those guys think.
Yeah.
Enzo, the older brother, he kind of understands it. Younger brother, Ian, he's 15. He completely hates on it. He doesn't understand it. I've done everything in my power to teach him about this. He's still going to hate on it.
That's funny.
It's just the way it is. I tell him it all the time. Too.
You're like, dude, get into it now.
I'm like, literally, usually, if you're a hater of, like, basically anything I do, I don't really, like, talk with you and this and that. Like, I kind of, not necessarily cut you off, but I'm just like, you'll see. And I feel like I've never had to say that to anybody before, like, NFTs. Like, you'll see. Because I feel like I was just laying low under the radar. I guess even before TikTok, TikTok is when I was like, I know I'm doing something right here, like building a community, building an audience, building a platform and brand ultimately based around my name. Like there were kids in Nashville and Toledo and Norfolk, Virginia, all these places that we played this year that came to watch a baseball game. And I don't know if it was the sole reason, but they were screaming out, "We follow you on TikTok, we follow you on TikTok."
That's
so
cool.
It's like, I think they kind of did come and wanted to see me. They sounded excited to see me. They obviously knew my name. Without TikTok, without the power of, what I was doing, that wouldn't have been possible. So,
do you have a big following on TikTok?
We're like 100 away from 250,000.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. It's baseball fans. It's,
That's cool.
I try to give information back with breakdowns and stuff like that. Just day in the life, what I eat, whatever.
What is your...
Just Evan_Mendoza.
Okay. Go check him out on TikTok. I'm going to do it right after. I'll do it right now. Well, thanks for coming on, man, and making the time.
I appreciate it. This was a good opportunity. This Hacker House is awesome. I'm excited to check it out. I've been away from TikTok for a while, though.
Well, you got a cool video that you filmed last night that you can put on there.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I did, yeah.
Oh, you did it? It's on there?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
cool.
was like a month away from TikTok. Like I didn't do anything. Solely focused on the Diamond Dogs. Felt like I was like, why not get the creative juices flowing in like an actual cool event, which I was having a good time. So met a lot of cool people doing it too.
Awesome, man.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's nice to meet you in real life.
Absolutely, man. We're going to continue this connection. And
when you come over to Sarasota, hit me up for sure.
For sure, yeah. I'll probably be around for like a solid week around Christmas. So
all right.
It'll be good.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely, man.